Okay, so now we're ready to rivet, now that we've drilled the holes and gotten the rivets all the right size. So before we start, one thing I like to do is take a drill bit and hold it in the holes, just to line it up, just while you're pressing the other ones. And I'll usually take one of the other rivets and just drop them in. Just keep everything lined up while you're pressing the other one, because it can twist and bend and stuff while you're doing this. You're putting a lot of force into one area. And you do have swell neck rivets, which are a little bit different than the regular rivets. You can see there's a flat head there and a little swell in there. The swell neck rivets on a regular AKM go in the back hole right here where the drill bit is. On an AK-74 you'll have swell necks on the front and the rear. You can tell. Just look on the trunnion and look for a recessed hole in there, a countersunk hole. Now we're ready here. I like to start with the middle holes, just personal preference. I found I get everything lining up better that way. So we'll go ahead and put the rivet in. Have these other ones here just lining it up. And and for the middle one, we just come up through the trunnion there. Might have to actually lift up the rivets a little bit just to get the tool in. Shouldn't hurt you too badly after that, though. And you just basically square the tool up. Keep these little rubber guys in there, just to keep the things somewhat aligned while you're doing this. And then, I kind of like to make them about 45-degree angle. I find it supports it a little better. And now remember, you're not trying to smash the hell out of it. You're just trying to get it down below the recess where the barrel channel is. And no gap in there. There's no gap right here. Looks pretty good. You can see it in there. You're just trying to make it flush right there. So let's do the next ones. Same deal. So the rear rivet on the front trunnion requires a dimple because of the countersink in there, so the swell neck rivet will fit in correctly. And we have this little dimpling tool here. So we're going to stick that in here and create the dimple. Don't squash down too hard, you'll bend the receiver. Yeah, and the dimple really doesn't look all that like much when you're done, but there it is. So compare that to that. So it allows this swell neck rivet right here to fit in flush like that instead of sticking up like this. See a difference? See a difference between that and that? That's all it gives you. This next step may be unnecessary depending on what tools you're using. But I found that with the AK Builder rivets at standard length, I tend to get rivets that look like this one right here, where you have the material squashing out under the tool head, and it just seems like the rivets are a little bit oversized. So what I like to do is cut about 20 thousandths off the end of the long rivets. So I realize that not everybody has a lathe. You could probably do this just as effectively with the file. I'm just using what I have because I have it. So if I measure this one right here, comes out to about 1.735. So I'm going to go ahead and cut 20 thousandths off the end of this rivet here. Go ahead and chuck it into the lathe. Again, always make sure you're wearing eye protection when using tools like this. Alright. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set the micrometer stop. And take about 20 thousandths off. 10, 20. So I found, for you lathe experts out here, I found that the facing tool tends to deform the head of this a little too much, and it's just easier to use just a straight cutting tool on it. Taking a little rough edge there. Exactly 20 thousandths. How about that? So, again, you may not need to perform that step. Just depends on what tools you're using.